and welcome to the show. This is episode 63. This is going to be a first in a way. This is a road trip series, but it's going to be the first one I'm recording video and putting it up on YouTube. These episodes are weird enough to do just talking while driving. It's going to be even weirder, I think, to do it while I'm trying to look at a camera and look at myself, which is fucking weird. But I got some things on my mind, as I do, and you know, this week in the Phoenix Warriors group. By the way, if you don't know what that is, you can join the Warriors Tribe. $5 a month will get you access to a certain section of the Divorced Men's Network Discord. It will get you texts from me. I send out texts on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday being sort of a setting the tone, a motivational, a mindset type of text. Wednesday is typically, or not typically, Wednesdays are quotes. And then Friday, I follow up with a short-ish video on the topic for the week, and I pick a theme each week. So this particular week was the theme of excuses, and I've been thinking a lot lately about sort of, and possibly because or partially because I've been listening to David Goggins' audiobook, Can't Hurt Me. Man, what a fucking story. I'm not I'm maybe a quarter of the way through, but what a crazy story so far. And he has this thing called the accountability mirror, and that sort of ties into excuses in a way. If we hold ourselves accountable, then the excuses disappear, if we're really truly holding ourselves accountable. But the way that he does it is I would say harsh, you know, and I started thinking about that. Why is that bad? Is that healthy? He talks a lot about, you know, if you're fat, you know, look in the mirror and tell yourself you're fucking fat. You need to lose some fucking weight. He curses a lot, which is near and dear to my heart because I like to curse. And I started thinking about the harshness of that self-talk, because I think negative self-talk is was not healthy. But then I started thinking about also Sean Whalen and how when he says shit like, if your wife left you, it's your fucking fault. And I think, and perhaps I'm wrong, but I think why these guys say these things, not that they're right or wrong or whatever, that's a whole debate, but it's because of the shock factor. When you hear Sean Whalen say, if your wife left you and it's your fucking fault, your ears perk up, you know, in a few different ways. It could be a fuck you, who are you kind of way, which I can understand that. Or it can be a, yeah, he's so right, it's all my fault. But either way, you're listening, and I think for me, it's what happens after that. So now that they have your attention, it's what they say after. And with the case of Mr. Whalen, what he gets to is that if you don't believe that, then that means your power is being given away. And I think that's a really critical component, because and people think of power in different ways, but what it means to me is that I'm giving the power to so I don't know, fix or correct or lead or what, you know, run my life. I'm giving it away. And I think that's really, really important to sort of to wrap your head around, to believe, because at the end of the day, that is true. Your life is in your hands, and if you decide that someone else is responsible, then who the fuck is gonna fix or run or improve, it's probably the better word, your life? Well, nobody. If it's not in your hands, whose fucking hands is it in? And so I think the shock factor of things like, you're a fat motherfucker, or you fucked up your marriage, is what draws you in or makes you listen. But I think it's the follow-up, and what David Goggins is sort of saying is it's essentially the same thing. It's up to you. And so fuck your excuses. Now, again, I'm not sure you have to talk to yourself in that way, and I don't think you have to take full responsibility for the demise of your marriage, but you have to take responsibility for your part. And so that's, I think him and I and David Goggins, and by the way, I'm not trying to, those guys are famous and, you know, really, really fucking successful. And fucking David Goggins was a fucking SEAL and a Ranger, I think. I mean, I'm not trying to compare myself to that man, but you know, I think when you hear, at least for me, when I hear these guys, I always try to apply it to what I do and what I'm trying to do, not only for all of you that listen and contribute, my warriors, but for myself. And I think one of the things that I feel like I'm fairly decent at is sort of translating in ways that make sense to me anyhow, and hopefully can apply. So some of the lessons that can be taken from a Whalen or Jocko or any of these, I haven't really dove into Jocko too much, but these guys, I take that and apply it to what we are going through in terms of a divorce. Because all of these lessons, these life lessons that sometimes come up on these podcasts with guests, with myself, they can be applied. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be going through a divorce for it to be relevant to your life. You know, negative self-talk is something that everyone experiences. You know, letting go of things is difficult for everybody. So I wanted to kind of dive into excuses and talk about what I've sort of been picking up lately and thinking about in terms of how much are we holding ourselves back with excuses. I'm sure that I am. I'm sure of it. I don't know for sure. You know, I could probably pinpoint some. You know, maybe it's my work situation isn't going well, and I can point a lot of fucking fingers, but at the end of the day, it's on me. I'm not doing my part. I feel like I'm putting in the effort, but maybe I need to course correct, change tactics, or something of that nature. I don't know, but if I'm sure that I'm right, or if I am leaning on excuses, then I'll never be able to find that out, right? I'll never be able to pinpoint ways to improve or things to work on or whatever, if I'm not at least acknowledging that maybe I'm wrong and fuck my excuses. And I think sometimes it is easy to let ourselves off the hook. When we know we're doing wrong, we shouldn't be letting ourselves off the hook. But we also shouldn't walk around punching ourselves in the balls either. I mean, that doesn't help either. So I think it's a balance. It's really a tricky balance. I think fucking life is a balance, man. Honestly, I think sometimes we're too hard on ourselves, and sometimes we're not hard enough on ourselves. I think sometimes we fuck up and don't acknowledge it, and sometimes we have fucking victories and we don't celebrate them. You know, I've been thinking a lot about a lot, but I've been thinking a lot lately about how can I help people? How can I get better at it? What am I doing wrong? And, you know, I had a conversation with a gentleman, I think it was yesterday, and he is coming off a suicide attempt, and he is very distraught, and he misses her, and he loves her, and she is perfect, and all of these things, and I'm trying to point out that she's not perfect, but he doesn't want to hear it. And I think sometimes this happens where we men think we need to demonize our exes, because it does make it safe, right? It makes us, you know, it's easy to distract ourselves from our pain if we can be angry and point our finger at someone else. But I also think there is a perception that that's what we all do, but we all don't do that, and more importantly, you don't need to do that. If you have to do that, then that's an issue. That you're leaning on your anger way too much, and that's a slippery fucking slope that leads to no good, really. But it's important to see someone in their reality, in their actions. If someone cheated on you, I'm sorry, they're not perfect. If someone lied to you, I am sorry, they're not perfect. First of all, nobody's fucking perfect. Let's put that out there, right? Nobody's perfect. That doesn't exist. But when you're going through this in the beginning stages, in the very, very beginning, you can't stand the thought of not being with this person. What's the opposite of demonized? Angel eyes, angelic eyes? I don't know what the fuck the word is, but you know what I'm saying. You've done it, I'm sure. Oh, she's so awesome. She's the best thing ever, and I can't live without her, and all that horse shit that we say to ourselves. We don't need to completely flip that around and demonize everything they do. Quite frankly, that's what they did to us. At least mine did. Because she needed to justify her actions. I don't want to be that kind of guy. Now, I don't particularly like my ex, but I don't think that she's an evil succubus and she caused all of these problems. I mean, she did cause all the problems in a way, from the point of leaving, right? That's when all the problems developed. But she didn't leave solely because she was an evil woman. She left partially because I was at times a shitty husband. And here's where I think, where women and men, I think this is, and I don't know, man, this is where I think some of the differences lie. And it comes down to communication. I think fellas, we're really bad at communicating, and we're really bad at being vulnerable in our communication. And I know there's a whole red pill thing out there to not be vulnerable in front of your women, and that horseshit. I think it's the opposite in some ways. And I don't mean, I'm not talking vulnerable like cry into her fucking lap. I'm talking about, hey, this is bothering me. Hey, that is bothering me. Hey, these are my feelings about whatever. But we don't do that. We keep it inside, and then but we still have these feelings and emotions, and then we shame ourselves for having them because, oh, we're men, we're not pussies. What am I? And my feelings are hurt because she flirted with a dude or whatever the scenario is, and then you feel bad because you're having feelings and emotions, God forbid, and then you shame yourself, so then you bury it down deep even fucking further, and so then we don't share anything, and sometimes even including wins. It's like we're afraid to express ourselves. And I think that's what leads to the disconnection. And I'm not trying to put it all on our shoulders as men. No. There could be ways that women could help foster this. I don't know what that is. I don't know the fucking answer. But I don't like saying it's any one gender's fault. We are bad at communicating. And I think, there has to be ways for women to help foster that, to allow us to be vulnerable, to express ourselves. And I think the other thing that happens is because we can't stand, we're not supposed to be able to stand the emotions and the feelings, and we've sort of turned those off because society has told us to. And the women come to us with vulnerabilities and crying, they're upset. I know I've done this, man, and if you haven't done this as a man, I think you're a fucking liar. Maybe I'm wrong. She would come to me upset about something at work, and I would be like, I wouldn't want to hear it, just because I couldn't deal with the emotion of it, because I'm not emotional in that kind of way, or at least I'm not supposed to be, right? And I've shoved that down, and I've shamed it away, and then here she comes with these emotions and feelings, and I'm like, fuck those things. Like, I don't want to, tell me what the problem is and I'll solve it. Don't cry to me about something. Well, newsflash, that's a shitty thing to do. It just is. It's not holding space. It's not allowing for someone to feel. And I know for me, I made that mistake because of the fact that I couldn't handle the emotions. I couldn't deal with it. And so I pushed her away when those moments would come. And I robbed myself and her of the opportunity to strengthen our relationship, because I should have been there in an emotional kind of way for her, and I wasn't. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think many of us out there do that and have done that, and hopefully we can knock that shit off. And when people talk about, you know, getting in touch with your emotions. For fuck's sakes, it doesn't mean we gotta grab a box of tissues and cry like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It more means, I think, be able to express your emotions when they come so they don't fester and foster into other things. Like if I'm pissed at you, it's probably because you hurt my feelings, and I need to be able to say that in a way that conveys it and allows it to be addressed. Instead, we stuff it down, or it becomes anger because we don't know what the fuck to do with it. And again, then they come around, right, with their emotions, and we can't fucking handle it because we don't know how to do that. We don't know how to do emotions. We're logical. What's the problem? I'll fucking solve it for you. Don't cry to me about how she's a bitch to you. Punch her in the face or whatever. You know what I mean? Like we're not very good at that. So it's something that I hope that I've improved on. I won't know until I'm in a real long-term relationship again, but I'm certainly trying to improve on that. And I don't think that makes me a pussy. I don't think that makes me feminine. And by the way, who gives a fuck? Feminine, masculine? Man, how about just happiness and contentment? But I do think getting in touch with your feminine side is good. But again, it doesn't mean I'm sitting around with a fucking nail polish bottle and painting my fucking toenails pink. Like, it just doesn't, it's not what it means, man. And I think in this culture, in this world, I think we take things to extremes sometimes, a lot of times. We hear something and we make assumptions and make assumptions about the extremities of it. Like, oh, you want to get in touch with your feminine side? Oh, you want to wear fucking lingerie and like paint your toenails? No, motherfucker. It means I want to be able to express my emotions in a way that is healthy and doesn't keep them stuffed and buried down inside. Fuck all that, man. I don't think it's not healthy. It just isn't, and it doesn't lead or help in our relationships. So I think that's all I got for this road trip series. I think this is volume 3 or 4. I really don't know. I kind of think that this is the first one, though. I do a lot of live videos on my Facebook group, and so that's pretty natural, but it's still just strange knowing that this is going to go out to many more people, including YouTube, and that's a whole head fuck there. But thanks for listening. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. There's a couple of things I do want to update you on, or inform you of. One is, I mentioned the Phoenix Warriors Tribe is a group of men that are dedicated to really thriving after divorce, to working on themselves, to looking at our issues, to being vulnerable, to talking about these fucking things. It's a great group of men. I highly recommend it. It's $5 a month. It isn't the most comfortable thing for me to say this shit out loud, but I think I provide a great space for men that really want to work on themselves, and that includes me. I'm a work in progress as well. So if you want to find out more about that, you can send me an email, risingphoenixpodcast2020@gmail.com. You can also go to the website, and you can click on support the show, and you'll go to, it's a link to the website, Ko-fi, ko.fi.com, and I believe it's /Rising Phoenix Podcast. That's where you can make the contributions. You can set it up. It's monthly. It's reoccurring. You can also just pay a couple months at a time. You can pay a year. It's $50 for a year, $5 every month. I prefer the $5 because it's just easier to track. I have to manually track it in a spreadsheet if you do 50. But if that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. The money goes towards the podcast, towards the website. Advertisements, which I'm hoping to start soon for the website. Editing of the podcast, equipment, software, mainly software, that kind of shit. So, like I said, if you're interested, go to risingphoenixpodcast.com and you'll see support the show. Click on that and it'll take you to ko-fi.com. The other thing I want to talk about is merchandise. I have merch. If you go to risingphoenixpodcast.com and click on merch, you'll go to the Spreadshirt shop, and there is all kinds of different designs and shit on there for the podcast, for the website. There is a Straight Out of Marriage shirt. Yes, I stole that idea from Dr. Dre. That's on the back of the shirt. I have hats with that on the side of the hat with different logos for either the website or the podcast. So you can check that out. Again, risingphoenixpodcast.com. Click on the merch, and you will get taken to the Spreadshirt shops. Lastly, divorce-mans-network.com. The group's function is alive and well and improved. If you join a group and in your profile, if you put your phone number, you will get a text anytime there's activity in the group. So if someone new joins the group, you'll get a text message saying someone new has joined your private group. If someone posts in that group, you'll get a text message that says someone in your group has posted. The purpose of that is to allow greater interaction, because what's happening is the growth has been very slow, because I'm not advertising it except for on here on occasion, and so people will join. A couple weeks later someone else will join, and the communication is lacking, and that's making it difficult to get guys together. Again, the purpose of the groups on the website is to get guys together locally and get together, and depending on the number of guys, if it's 2 dudes in Minneapolis, go grab a fucking beer together. If it's 5, 6 guys, I'll get with you, and we'll figure out a place to go for axe throwing or some kind of shit. You know what I mean? Something to do to get together and help each other through this motherfucker that we're going through. So that is all I got. Thank you very much. If you need me, you know how to get a hold of me. RisingPhoenixPodcast2020 @gmail.com. Much love. Later.